Welcome in and God bless y'all, folks. Today we're going to begin on Leviticus. So, let's pull this up. Alright, so we finished the book of Exodus, which essentially the people of Israel are in Egypt and they're under oppression, and the Lord rescues it. He gets Moses, a rather reluctant person, to carry the task of guiding the people. He becomes the first prophet in all the Bible, in all the land. First prophet of God. And God establishes his covenants and his commandments and his laws for the people to follow. So, and he also has them build the tabernacle with stuff from metal, from linen, and string, I believe, and oils and spices. But that is not it. Let's get this back. That's a pretty stubborn place to work on, but we're going to make it work, folks. Anyways, Leviticus chapter 1. Father, I want to thank you for allowing us to read the book of Leviticus and for allowing us to start to finish, read the books of Genesis and Exodus. And I pray that you would send your Holy Spirit down on us and speak through me, Holy Spirit, and teach all the peoples the word and what you want us to learn from it. It's in Jesus' mighty name we pray. Amen. Okay, so let's go to chapter 1 of Leviticus. And I might do chapter 3 I might go until chapter 3 or chapter 4. I'm not too sure. So let's start. Chapter 1, the law of burnt offerings. Now the Lord called to Moses and spoke to him from the tent of meeting, saying, Speak to the sons of Israel and say to them, when any one of you brings an offering to the Lord, you shall bring your offering of livestock from the herd or the flock. If the offering is a burnt offering for the herd, he shall offer a male without defect. He shall offer it at the doorway of the tent of meeting, so that he may be accepted before the Lord. And he shall lay his hand on the head of the burnt offering, and so that it may be accepted for him, to make atonement on his behalf. Then he shall slaughter the bull before the Lord. And Aaron's sons and priests shall offer up the blood and sprinkle the blood around on the altar that is at the doorway of the tent of meeting. He shall then skin the burnt offering and cut it into pieces, and the sons of Aaron the priest shall put fire on the altar and arrange wood on the fire. Then Aaron's sons, the priests, shall arrange the pieces, with the head and the suet on the wood which is on the fire that is on the altar. Its entrails, however, and its legs he shall wash with water. And the priest shall offer all of it up in smoke on the altar as a burnt offering, an offering by fire, as a soothing aroma to the Lord. But if his offering is from the flock, he shall, either from the sheep or from the goats, as a burnt offering, he shall offer a male without defect, and he shall slaughter it on the side of the altar northward before the Lord. And Aaron's sons, the priests, shall sprinkle its blood around on the altar He shall then cut it into pieces with its head and its suet, and the priest shall arrange them on the wood which is on the fire that is on the altar. The entrails, however, and the legs he shall wash with water, and the priest shall offer all of it and offer it up in smoke on the altar. It is a burnt offering, an offering made by fire, of a soothing aroma to the Lord. But if his offering to the Lord is if his offering to the Lord is a burnt offering of birds, then he shall bring his offering from the turtle doves or from young doves. The priest shall bring it to the altar and pinch off its head and offer it up in smoke on the altar, and its blood is to be drained out on the side of the altar. He shall also remove its craw with its feathers and throw it beside the altar eastward to the place of the fatty ashes. Then he shall tear it by its wings, but shall not sever it. And the priest shall offer it up in smoke on the altar, on the wood which is on the fire. It is a burnt offering, an offering of fire by fire for soothing aroma to the Lord. So this chapter 1 essentially says you're to offer, if you offer a burnt offering for your sin, you'll either pull a bull, a sheep or a goat, or a dove. All of them which have no blemish, no wounds, and offer it up. And the blood will be sprinkled around the altar, and it goes into detail about how to get the pieces for the bull and the sheep or goat. Its entrails and its feet are washed. The rest are to be set aside and offered, and it will be all burnt up for the Lord in all cases. All right, chapter 2. The law of grain offerings. Now, when anyone presents a grain offering as an offering to the Lord, his offering shall be of fine flour, and he shall pour oil on it and put frankincense on it. He shall then bring it to Aaron's sons, the priests. And he shall take from it his handful of its fine flour and of its oil with all of its frankincense. And the priest shall offer it up in smoke as its memorial portion of the altar, an offering by fire for soothing aroma to the Lord. The remainder of the grain offerings belongs to Aaron and his sons, most holy part of the offerings to the Lord by fire. Now when you bring an offering of grain offering baked in an oven, it shall be unleavened cakes of fine flour mixed with oil, or unleavened wafers spread with oil. And if your offering is a grain offering made on the griddle, it shall be of fine flour, unleavened, mixed with oil. You shall break it into bits and pour oil on it. It is a grain offering. Now if your offering is a grain offering made in a pan, it shall be made of fine flour with oil. When you bring in the grain offering, which is made of these things to the Lord, it shall be presented to the priest, and he shall bring it to the altar. The priest shall take up from the grain offering its memorial portion. It shall offer it up in smoke on the altar as an offering by fire, soothing aroma to the Lord. The remainder of the grain offering belongs to Aaron and his sons, the most holy part of the offerings to the Lord by fire. No grain offering which you bring to the Lord shall be made with leaven, for you shall not offer up in smoke any leaven or any honey as an offering by fire to the Lord. As offering of first fruits you shall bring them to the Lord, but they shall not ascend as a soothing aroma on the altar. Every grain offering of yours, moreover, you shall season with salt, that the salt of the covenant of your God will not be lacking from your grain offering. With all your offerings you shall offer salt. Also, if you bring a grain offering of early ripened things to the Lord, you shall bring fresh heads of grain roasted in a fire, crushed grain of new growth, for the grain offering of your early ripened produce. You shall then put oil on it and place incense on it. It is a grain offering. Then the priest shall offer in smoke its memorial portion, part of its crushed grain and its oil with all its incense, as an offering by fire to the Lord. Okay, grain offerings means anything made with flour. So whether it be bread made on the griddle, or if it be a cake, it would have to be made without any leaven, without any yeast. Also shall be salted. And those two things, leaven and salt. Leaven represents the contamination. And this is further reinforced when Jesus says, do not hearken to the leaven of the Pharisees. Also, Jesus says that, that stuff should be salted. I can't remember, but how's it going? Basically, when something has its salt, it's got flavor. It's got power to make saltiness. But yeah. What else? The first fruits of the Lord shall be offered as well, but they will not be burnt up, but rather they'll be offered on the altar without burning. But I think that's about it for chapter 2. But yeah, can't have any leaven. You must salt it, and the first fruits of your produce shall be offered, not burnt. The rest shall be burnt for the Lord. Okay, chapter 3, the law of peace offerings. Now, if his offering is a sacrifice of peace offerings, if he is going to offer from the herd, whether it be male or female, he shall offer it without defect before the Lord. And he shall lay his hand on the head of his offering and slaughter it at the doorway of the tent of meeting. And Aaron's sons, the priest, shall sprinkle the blood around on the altar. From the sacrifice of the peace offerings, he shall then present an offering by fire to the Lord, the fat that covers the entrails, and all the fat that is on the entrails, and the 2 kidneys with the fat that is on them, which is on the loins, and the lobe of the liver, which he shall remove with the kidneys. Then Aaron's sons shall offer it up in smoke on the altar on the burnt offering, which is on the wood that is on the fire. It is an offering by fire, soothing aroma to the Lord. But if his offering for sacrifice of peace offerings to the Lord is from the flock, he shall offer it, male or female, without defect. If he is going to offer a lamb for his offering, then he shall offer it before the Lord, and he shall lay his hand on the head of his offering and slaughter it in front of the tent of meeting. And Aaron's sons shall sprinkle its blood around on the altar. From the sacrifice of peace offerings he shall then bring as an offering by fire to the Lord its fat, the entire fat, the tail which he shall remove close to the backbone, and the fat that covers the entrails, and all the fat that is on the entrails, and the 2 kidneys with the fat that is on them, which is on the loins, and the lobe of the liver, which he shall remove with the kidneys. Then the priest shall offer it up in smoke on the altar as food, an offering by fire to the Lord. Now if his offering is a goat, then he shall offer it before the Lord. And he shall lay his hand on his head and slaughter it in front of the tent of the meeting. And the sons of Aaron shall sprinkle its blood around on the altar. From it he shall present his offering by fire to the Lord. The fat that uncovers the entrails, and the fat that is on the entrails, and the 2 kidneys with the fat that is on them, which is on the loins, and the lobe of the liver, which he shall remove with the kidneys. The priest shall offer them up in smoke on the altar as food. An offering made by fire is assumed the aroma. All fat is the Lord's. It is a permanent statute throughout your generations in all your dwelling places. You shall not eat any fat or any blood. Well, blood, we have safety laws, we have contamination laws. For children, you cannot eat blood, but for adults, you can eat nowadays. But for back then, you couldn't eat any blood. And what else? And you couldn't eat any fat. In fact, the fat we eat makes us higher risk of heart attack. So many of our principles and philosophies on food and life in general come from the statutes that the Lord hath imposed on us. So, in short, peace offerings, you'll sprinkle the blood around the altar and offer the fat before the Lord. And yeah, not sure what else to say. And chapter 4, the law of sin offerings. It's a little long, so just bear with me. It's all one page-ish. Then the Lord spoke to Moses, saying, "Speak to the sons of Israel, saying, if a person sins unintentionally in any of the things which the Lord has commanded not to be done, and commits any of them, if the anointed priest sins so to bring guilt on the people," guilt tripping, "then he is to offer to the Lord a bull without defect as a sin offering for his sin which he has committed. He shall bring the bull to the doorway of the tent of meeting before the Lord, and he shall lay his hand on the head of the bull and slaughter the bull before the Lord. Then the anointed priest is to take some of the blood of the bull and bring it to the tent of meeting. And the priest shall dip his finger in the blood and sprinkle some of the blood 7 times before the Lord, in front of the veil of the sanctuary. The priest shall also put some of the blood on the horns of the altar of fragrant incense, which is before the Lord in the tent of meeting. And all the rest of the blood of the bull he shall pour out at the base of the altar of burnt offering, which is at the doorway of the tent of meeting. And he shall remove from it all the fat of the bull of the sin offering, the fat which covers the entrails, and all the fat which is on the entrails, and the 2 kidneys with the fat that is on them, which is on the loins, and the lobe of the liver, which he shall remove with the kidneys, just as it is removed from the oxen, the sacrifice of peace offerings. And the priest is to offer them up in smoke on the altar of burnt offering. But the hide of the bull and all its flesh, along with its head, its legs, its entrails, and its refuse, that is All the rest of the bull he is to bring out to a clean place outside the camp where the fatty ashes are poured out, and burn it on wood with fire. Where the fatty ashes are poured out, it shall be burned. Now, if the entire congregation of Israel does wrong unintentionally, and the matter escapes the notice of the assembly, and they commit any of the things which the Lord has commanded not to be done, and they become guilty, when a sin which they have committed becomes known, then the assembly shall offer a bull of the herd as a sin offering, and bring it in front of the tent of meeting. Then the elders of the congregation shall lay their hands on the head of the bull before the Lord, and the bull shall be slaughtered before the Lord. Then the anointed priest is to bring some of the blood of the bull to the tent of meeting. And the priest shall dip his finger in the blood and sprinkle it 7 times before the Lord in front of the veil. You shall then put some of the blood on the horns of the altar, which is before the Lord in the tent of meeting. And all the rest of the blood he shall pour out at the base of the altar of burnt offering, which is at the doorway of the tent of meeting. And he shall remove all its fat from it, and offer it up in smoke on the altar. He shall also do with the bull just as he did with the bull of the sin offering. He shall do the same with it. So the priest shall make atonement for them, and they will be forgiven. Then he is to bring the bull out to a place outside the camp and burn it as he burned the first bull. It is the sin offering for the assembly. When a leader sins and unintentionally does any of the things which the Lord his God has commanded not to be done, and he becomes guilty, if his sin which he has committed is made known to him, he shall bring as his offering a goat, male without defect, and he shall lay his hand on the head of the male goat and slaughter it in the place where they slaughtered the burnt offering before the Lord. It is a sin offering. Then the priest is to take some of the blood of the sin offering with his finger and put it on the horns of the altar of burnt offering. And the rest of its blood he shall pour out at the base of the altar of burnt offering. And he shall offer all its fat up in smoke on the altar, as in the case of the fat of the sacrifice of peace offerings. So the priest shall make atonement for him regarding his sin, and he will be forgiven. Now, if any of the common people sins unintentionally by doing any of the things which the Lord has commanded them not to do, has commanded not to be done, and becomes guilty, if a sin which he has committed is made known to him, hey Metro, then he shall bring as his offering a goat, a male without defect, for a sin which he has committed. And he shall lay his hand on the head of the sin offering and slaughter the sin offering at the place of the burnt offering. Trick or treat. Did I read that right? It depends on what the trick or the treat are. Anyways, and he shall lay his hand on the head of the sin offering and slaughter the sin offering at the place of the burnt offering. The priest shall take some of its blood with his finger and put it on the horns of the altar of burnt offering, and all the rest of its blood he shall pour out at the base of the altar. Then he shall remove all its fat, just as the fat was removed from the sacrifice of peace offerings, and the priest shall offer it up in smoke on the altar as a soothing aroma to the Lord. So the priest shall make atonement for him, and he will be forgiven. You forgot to read the book of Enoch. That's not a thing. Enoch was in Genesis. But if he brings a lamb as his offering for a sin offering... Oh, wait a second. No! I mean, it is the thing. Sorry. Hold on. You look like a skateboarder, dude. You just sent a message that YouTube just held for review. I'm not going to read it until I finish this thing. But if he brings a lamb as his offering for a sin offering, he shall bring a female without defect. And he shall lay his hand on the head of the sin offering and slaughter it as a sin offering in the place where they slaughter the burnt offering. And the priest is to take some of the blood as a sin offering with his finger, and put it on the horns of the altar of burnt offering, and all the rest of its blood he shall pour out at the base of the altar. Then he shall remove all its fat, just as the fat of the lamb is removed from the sacrifice of the peace offerings. And the priest shall offer it up in smoke on the altar, on the offerings by fire to the Lord. So the priest shall make atonement for him regarding his sin which he has committed, and he will be forgiven. Word of the Lord. Praise be to God. Okay. So these, all right. What? I like them on. I prefer them on, honestly. If it gets too hot, then I'll remove, I'll go to the bathroom and remove it and just have one on. But right now I'm fine as it is. So, chapter 4, the law of sin offerings. It covers sins that people have unintentionally done. Whoa, Metro. You're just spatting random stuff. You're way too ahead. We're just in Leviticus. Chill out, bro. I swear, Metro says some of the randomest stuff. See, Jerry? Metro is trying to catch me off guard for no reason. Alright, so essentially, you offer a goat or a bull or whatever it says, and the priest will take some of his blood on his finger and put it on the horns of the altar of burnt offering, and remove its fat, its kidneys and entrails and stuff, and burn it up. By the way, how's it going, both of y'all? God bless y'all. I almost forgot to say that, but God bless y'all. How's it going, folks? Fun fact, they take over the promised land. Nope. So quickly, just to recap, chapter 1, the law of burnt offerings. Essentially, you'll offer either a bull, a sheep or a goat, or dove without blemish to burn up before the Lord. And then chapter 2, the law of grain offering, essentially either you offer bread from a kidtle, how's it going? What you doing? I'm doing good. Tomorrow I have a test for differential equations, so yeah. That's nice. How have you been, Jerry? I haven't seen you. Well, I have seen you, but it always feels like I haven't seen you in a while each time you come here, for whatever reason. Look, Metro, if you read the book of Revelation, spoiler alert, Metro, listen up. Babylon becomes destroyed, annihilated. Should be studying for differential equations still? I will. Let me just recap these 4 chapters and then I'll hop off and study. Alright, so chapter 1 essentially covers burnt offerings such as a sheep, goat, bull, or dove. Chapter 2 covers goods made out of wheat or grain, which is bread or cakes mixed with oil, of course. They cannot have leaven and they cannot have honey, and they must be salted. Chapter 3, peace offerings. Essentially, you offer animals, and the priest will remove kidneys, entrails, etc. And chapter 4, essentially more of the same. And we'll start back with chapter 5, the law of guilt offerings, tomorrow. Babylon will still exist as modern day Iraq, though. Yeah, I know. Bush did the Book of Revelation. Ooh. Okay. If Bush did the Book of Revelation, then how are we still living? Wouldn't, okay. In Jesus' name, I rebuke the evil spirits that are tempting me. Yeah. Yeah, Metro, you're just throwing a lot of curveballs at me. Lots of gibberish and nonsense. At least that's what I think. I don't know. Tell the evil spirits to go away and you're good. I will. Alright, I'm going to go study for differential equations. Thank you, Metro, and thank you, Jerry, for joining in. God bless you. Sleep deep, rise and shine bright, and go in peace.